Good afternoon, everybody. Bonjour tout le monde. Thank you for joining us today for this important announcement for all of BC. My name is Will Greaves, and I have the great privilege of being the Member of Parliament for Victoria, and I will be for today's event. I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathered here today on the traditional territories of the Lekwungen people, now known as the Songhees, Kosapsum, and Wasanic peoples. Before we begin, I'd like to offer my deepest condolences to the community of Tumbler Ridge and to those who are still mourning their loved ones. Victoria is holding Tumbler Ridge close, and Canada is with all of you as you continue to heal. We're coming here today to recognize another step forward towards tackling the housing crisis that is facing all Canadian provinces, territories, and cities. Canada's new government was elected with a mandate to build. To do that, we're partnering together with local and provincial governments to build a better future for everyone in Canada. And a reliable, safe, and affordable place to call home for everyone in BC and in Canada is central to that future. To make it happen, our new government will continue to make strategic investments in housing, transit, and infrastructure. These are critical to building resilient communities where everyone can thrive. To tell you more about how today's announcement is contributing to our government's mission to build Canada and BC strong, please let me introduce my colleague, the Honourable Gregor Robertson, Minister of Housing and Infrastructure and Minister responsible for Economic Development Canada. Mr. Robertson.
Good day, everyone, and thank you very much, Will, for the introduction. Thanks for hosting us here in your riding in Victoria, and a big thanks to Minister Christine Boyle for hosting us here at the Ledge for this really important announcement for our whole country. And first of all, a happy Lunar New Year, happy Year of the Horse to everyone who celebrates, especially fitting, I think, this year, given the horse is a symbol of energy, strength, and determination. It's a good sign to bring us into the new year with the work that we have ahead of us. Before going on, as Will said, having been in BC for the last week and up in Tumbler Ridge last Wednesday and Thursday, I will echo Will's acknowledgement, share my heartfelt condolences to the community of Tumbler Ridge. And as the Government of Canada, we will continue to support the province and, of course, the community as they work to heal. It's a tough journey back from such a tragedy, but we recognize that to make the community whole again, we have a lot of work to do across province and country, building safe and strong communities for all of us who live in Canada. Today we are here to talk more about that, about building affordable homes in BC. The reality is we have seen a growing challenge with housing and homelessness across the country for many, many years now. I certainly know this in my time as mayor in Vancouver, and I'm sure Minister Boyle as well remembers this. Vancouver was the canary in the coal mine for the housing crisis that has affected the whole country now. It's a crisis that continues to deepen, and sadly, it's one that is the result of decades, probably 3 decades of underinvestment in affordable housing and solutions for homelessness. That's a responsibility primarily of the provincial and federal governments. For most of the years that we've spent at local government level, we did not see those governments stepping up adequately to address the crisis that we face today. C'est une responsabilité que le gouvernement fédéral et provincial ainsi que les gouvernements provinciaux, territoriaux et locaux de tout le Canada assument avec l'urgence et le soin qu'elle mérite. There's no shortage of work to do on this, but to do it, we have to keep in mind who we're building for. This work is not one size fits all. We need to build homes that meet a continuum of needs. We need the supportive housing to house our most vulnerable people. We also need options for young grads who are moving away from home for the first job, young couples looking to size up, growing their families, but also for seniors who are keen to stay in the neighborhoods they've lived in. They need to have access to the right housing to stay in their communities. So it's about building all different types of housing that people can afford. And first and foremost, we need to tackle the housing that people who have none need so desperately. The partnerships are really critical in that, and that brings us to why we're here today. We are announcing the latest agreement for Build Canada Homes, which is marking a significant partnership between Build Canada Homes and the province of BC, and Build Canada Homes' largest investment in supportive housing to date. The partnership between Build Canada Homes and BC will accelerate the delivery of at least 1,100 new homes in the province, including roughly 700 supportive and transitional homes, with Build Canada Homes contributing $170 million in capital funding for the construction of these homes. BC Housing is putting forward up to $640 million of both project capital and operating funding to ensure these homes have the support and the services that they need. Because a safe place to call home, coupled with reliable health and social services, can save lives. And that is why our government has acted fast with Build Canada Homes securing $1 billion specifically for supportive housing across Canada. By focusing on moving shovel-ready projects forward, we will get more supportive housing options open and built for the people who are in the greatest needs, including very low-income and low-income households, people experiencing or at risk of homelessness. Nous savons que pour garantir que les logements abordables restent abordables à long terme, il faut une planification à long terme des investissements soutenus et une coopération entre les gouvernements et les partenaires. The scale of the investments being announced today demonstrates what can be achieved when governments work together with shared objectives. We want to move fast. We also want to keep moving towards a future that ensures reliable and sustained affordable housing supply. Partnerships like this are getting housing built fast, unlocking financial and regulatory barriers to building more, makes it go even faster. So today is another big step forward, but certainly is not the last. Since its launch in the fall, Build Canada Homes has been working at record pace. We have advanced 6 major affordable housing projects on federal lands that will get over 4,000 homes built, and a total right now, starting this morning, over 7,500 homes that are underway. And this is adding an additional 1,100 units, over 700 of those supportive housing here in BC. We have unlocked new homes across the country now, from coast to coast to coast, Nova Scotia to BC to Nunavut, with provincial and territorial partners. And Nunavut being 750 homes that was announced just a few weeks ago. We also introduced legislation, the Build Canada Homes Act in Ottawa, just in the last few weeks, advancing our agenda to make sure Canada has a permanent affordable housing builder as part of government work to invest. As the government's affordable housing builder, Build Canada Homes will become a Crown corporation with the support of the House of Commons, and that'll be focused on driving investment to build affordable housing in communities across the country. And that gives Build Canada Homes the flexibility and the ability to provide partners with a mix of financial tools, including grants, loans, loan guarantees, and equity investments. Also gives Build Canada Homes the ability to acquire and develop property and build housing on public land, so that it can keep scaling up work like this. So we're looking at investing in technologies that enable us to build faster and more sustainably as well, creating good jobs in the home building sector. That is modern methods of construction. Big shout out to former Mayor Victoria Lisa Helps, who the Minister worked so closely with, who couldn't be here today because she's working with those manufacturers. We expect to see many of these 1,100 units using modern methods of construction to expedite, make more affordable housing possible on the ground. So bringing those partners to the table and helping that industry scale is at the core of Build Canada Homes' mandate. A big, big thanks to Minister Christine and her team, everyone here at BC Housing and the BC government. That's been great to put this together and know that we have much bigger steps ahead of us in terms of partnerships and delivering more affordable housing here in BC. A big Big shout out to my team as well in Ottawa at Housing Infrastructure and Communities Canada, and to Anna Bailau and the team at Build Canada Homes for doing the work, stepping up with our shared ambition. We are just getting started. C'est le temps de bâtir, and together we will be building homes that this province needs, this country needs to build BC and Canada strong. Merci. Thank you. Will?
Thank you, Minister Robertson, and we're excited to hear about these investments here in this community and right across the province and the country. Next, I would like to invite the Honourable Christine Boyle, Minister of Housing and Municipal Affairs, to speak on behalf of the province of BC. Minister.
Thank you so much, and good to be here to get to speak about this exciting investment and partnership. Thanks everyone for joining us, and I will acknowledge that we are on the territories of the Lekwungen people, also known as the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nation. I thank them for their ongoing stewardship. Today is about a shared priority between our two governments, building more homes for more people faster. This new partnership with Canada supports BC's approach to housing delivery, showing confidence in the work we're doing to deliver homes for British Columbians. This partnership secures $170 million from the federal government through Build Canada Homes and commits up to $640 million in capital funding and operating funding from the province. This combined funding will help us move construction-ready projects forward, projects that can start quickly, projects that will open homes for people sooner. This partnership will help deliver more than 700 safe, affordable homes, homes for people at risk or experiencing homelessness, homes for people moving out of temporary housing, and homes for communities facing the greatest housing pressures. One important thing about this partnership is that people will see tangible benefits quickly, with most projects ready for construction within 12 months. That means we can break ground faster and deliver more homes sooner for the people who need them most. The federal investment also unlocks $170 million of provincial funding that can be directed in partnership with Build Canada Homes to deliver the more than 400 homes using tools like DASH and modern methods of construction, and help us move forward on even more homes for people. Homes that use innovative tools and modern methods of construction, homes that can be delivered faster and more efficiently. Tools like DASH and other modern methods of construction can help make that happen. This Made in BC digitally accelerated standardized housing program, the DASH program, streamlines permitting and construction processes, helping shorten the time between planning and completion. By using efficient systems and prefabricated building parts made in Canada, DASH is expected to cut the development process from 3 years to 1. This means more homes can quickly advance from construction-ready stage and eventually open up to people at a much quicker pace. This is how we're building more homes in BC, and in partnership, this is how we're supporting people and communities across BC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Boyle. And thank you, everybody, for being in Victoria today and for the work of championing across governments the need to have affordable housing in this country. This work will make a real impact for Canadians today and for generations to come, and thrilled to have been a part of this announcement today. That concludes the formal part of this event, but I'd like to invite Fiona Simons to open up the floor for media questions, and then we will stick around for a photo, potentially. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A reminder to reporters on the line, if you'd like to ask a question, please make sure you're not on mute or speakerphone. Press *1 to enter the queue. You'll be limited to one question and one follow-up. We'll start with questions here in the room with Amelia Macauer, Radio Canada.
Thank you for taking my question. So my first question is for Minister Boyle. I just wanted to know regarding the budget that was presented yesterday. There are experts in the construction industries that are saying that a lot of people are being laid off. Construction's goals that your government set in 2025 were not reached. And they expect that the construction, the new homes, are going to slow down throughout the years, even in 2027. So I wanted your reaction on that, knowing that they're kind of disappointed in the investment made yesterday in the budget.
Yeah, absolutely. Our government remains committed to the $19 billion investment in affordable housing and the target that was set of 114,000 new units. As the Minister of Finance spoke to in the budget yesterday, we are repacing some projects, so we'll take a couple extra years to get to those targets, but those remain our targets, and we are in constant conversation with industry. It is a shared priority to continue to see homes get built, and we know that there are many tools that help make that happen. The province has taken ambitious action on housing to reduce red tape and see more homes be built in communities across the province, and will continue to work with industry and with the community housing sector to keep delivering those homes.
And for my follow-up, I was wondering, so you were talking about that digital tool, Dash. I know that a lot of projects were pushed to later on to be more efficient in the way to save money, basically, and I think it talked about modular, it talked about standardized designs. Can you yourself use those kinds of tools to build those delayed projects?
Absolutely. We are looking at Dash and other innovative tools for how we can deliver on provincial projects as well as projects that we're partnering with local governments and the community housing sector on to see improved efficiency and faster delivery.
This question is for both Minister Robertson and Minister Boyle. The budget also included scrapping or pause of the Community Housing Fund. You know, Minister Robertson, you talked about Vancouver being the canary in the coal mine. There are nonprofit organizations that say projects that were hundreds of thousands or $2 million already sunk to get these projects off the ground are now totally paused. Their applications were in and they're not going to go ahead. So what will the impact be on below market rentals?
Certainly, our goal here is to work with provinces and territories and cities, nonprofit partners in the community housing sector, Indigenous nations, to get more affordable housing built as soon as possible. I think the whole space of affordable housing has not kept up to demand for decades now. We're lucky to see leadership here in BC in recent years that has scaled up the investment in affordable housing. But overall, we need initiatives like Dash, direct investment and partnership in supportive and transitional housing. We need a new set of solutions. We need to realign our investments across federal, provincial, and local level. We need to engage the private sector, particularly in BC and Ontario, who are struggling with flat markets. So it's really, I think, taking a revised approach. We have to scale up our investment and build more affordable housing. We have to find faster, more affordable, more efficient ways to deliver that. And that's the nature of our partnership. You'll see a lot more in the months ahead in terms of rolling out affordable housing collaboration between Canada and BC. And we'll be working with those community housing partners as part of that. Thank you.
I'll just add, I understand the frustration from proponents who submitted applications through the Community Housing Fund. We as a government have invested historic amounts and in partnership with the community housing sector are delivering historic numbers of non-market and affordable homes in communities all across the province. We know how important that is and how important the community housing sector is in that work. And so even while we repace projects and look at new tools to deliver projects more efficiently, we remain committed to working closely with the community housing sector to see homes built in communities around BC.
And as a follow-up, I forgot to introduce myself, Katie DeRosa from CBC News. But for Minister Boyle, will you be adjusting or taking the gas off the housing targets? Because again, municipalities are saying, how can they meet these housing targets when they may have had applications that are now completely in limbo?
The housing targets remain in place, though, of course, both with shifts in the private market and delivery of housing, we remain in conversation with local governments about how we get there. We're seeing incredible leadership from so many local governments around the province who are doing the work they can in their jurisdiction to speed up timelines, to remove red tape, and to see more homes get built. And Minister Robertson spoke to his own experience in local government as well. We know how important the folks around those tables are and the tools that they have, and so I'm so grateful to get to work in partnership with local governments, particularly where they are doing that hard work, and we share a goal of figuring out how we can continue to get homes delivered.
Our next question comes from Jonathan Bartlett, Global News.
Thanks for taking my questions. This is for Minister Boyle. How was an accused killer wanted on a Canada-wide warrant able to hide out in a government-owned Granville SRO before his arrest last December? Just some background. In December, the province directed BC Housing to investigate after Jordan Conway was arrested inside the Lagat on Granville Street. Has the investigation been completed? And if so, what's changed to ensure a similar situation doesn't occur again?
I can't speak to the investigation. I'll direct those questions to the solicitor, the Minister for Public Safety. But we are working in partnership with the City of Vancouver, as we have committed to publicly, to help relocate residents from the Lugat to other social and supportive housing in the City of Vancouver, and that work in partnership with the City of Vancouver continues.
Okay, separate story. Grace is doing, we're doing a story on RVs and people blocking Pemberton Avenue. North Vancouver mayor blames provincial legislation that prevents them from moving people unless they have alternative housing. Can we ask you what the government can do to help communities that have large RV encampments on their streets?
We're working in partnership with local governments, particularly around challenges of encampments and unhoused individuals, including in North Vancouver. We will follow up with North Vancouver about that specific situation on Pemberton. I don't know the details there, but that partnership is so important, and we have been having really productive conversations with North Vancouver about shared solutions.
Our next question is from Mark Page, Black Press.
Yes, this question is for Minister Boyle. This is another question about the Community Housing Fund and the I guess, cancellation of this fund. Why was this decision made? What will happen to those projects that are in the queue right now that have spent money on getting their project forward and putting the application in? And what do you have to say to municipalities who are unhappy about this decision? I spoke to mayors, UBCM, nonprofit housing advocates today. They're all pretty upset. Some of those mayors, one of those mayors is in this room right now. What do you have to say to these folks?
I understand the frustration, absolutely. Project proponents put a lot of time and thought into their application. We are investing a historic amount in community housing projects in communities all over BC. We as a government have done more than has been invested in the sector in decades, ever. The work that we've been doing on non-market housing investments is huge. It's making a difference. We are, as the finance minister spoke to, repacing a number of those projects, and a number of them will be on hold. I understand that's frustrating, and we'll be working with project proponents and applicants to see what different paths forward exist on a project-by-project basis.
Yeah, I guess I just have a sort of a two-part follow-up. What does repacing what does repacing mean in this situation? A lot of people ask that question to me, and they also wondered why, they seemed a little bit blindsided by this. Why did you surprise them with this instead of having some conversations about the fact that this might go away beforehand?
This was a budget decision, and so budget decisions all get held until the budget date. We've been in conversation with the community housing sector around fiscal challenges and looking to work together to find efficient solutions. Repacing means that our commitment remains to the overall target that we as a government have set of 114,000 new buildings of a $19 billion investment, but likely that will get stretched out over a few extra years, a few years longer than had originally been committed. But overall, those targets remain. We understand the significance of investing in community housing and nonprofit and co-op housing. That's why we have put so many provincial dollars into projects in communities around BC, and will continue to do so. Just will take us a bit longer so that we can, at the same time, work to address the deficit and manage the provincial fiscal situation in a responsible way, and in that time look to how we can more effectively and efficiently and affordably build these badly needed homes.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for questions right now. Thank you for joining us for today's housing event. Please stay on the phone line if you're waiting for Minister Calan's event. It will start shortly. Thank you.